We are joined once again by our Bear Blitz analyst, Hub Arkush. Hub, let's dive right into this. We've been hearing since April from Matt Nagy, from Ryan Pace, that they see an improved Mitch Trubisky. How we can say that or believe that without seeing him in game action, I'm not really sure. But are you buying it? Do you think we're going to see an improved Mitch Trubisky?
I do. I think he's more comfortable with the offense, just having the year to work on it. He's a third-year quarterback at this point. He has embraced his leadership responsibilities. He certainly has got better timing with his receivers, I think. At the end of the day, he's worked on fundamentals on the deep ball, which was certainly the biggest concern last year. So as you point out, Scott, I mean, until he does it on the field, it isn't real, but I do think there's every reason to expect that he's going to take the next step. We saw in his athletic ability last year, there's a lot more that this kid has to offer. And so I think that's where some of this confidence comes from.
What's the biggest area he needs to improve on?
I think it's probably the deep ball and making plays down the field. He had a 96.4, I think, passer rating, which is pretty good. Completion percentage wasn't bad. They were doing a lot of that quick one-step timing stuff, get the ball out. At the end of the day, though, they didn't make a lot of plays down the field. That's where his accuracy struggled a little bit. I know that's where a lot of the focus has been this offseason, and so I think that's what we're going to be watching. And you can't just put it all on the first game against the Packers. I mean, you got to give it 3-4 weeks. We don't know if they're going to have a ground game this year. That was something that they didn't have consistently last year. Their ranking in the league was misleading because of the yards that Mitch ran for. So an improved ground game is going to help them a lot too, but I think we'll focus a lot on whether they're able to make some big plays down the field.
You've seen a lot of Bears receiving units over the years. Is this the deepest one that you've seen or close?
Well, it's a really good one. You know, you can go back to the 90s when I think Curtis Conway and Jeff Graham both had 1,000-yard seasons or close to it. There have been some other pretty good groups, but Allen Robinson, I believe, is a legit number one. I don't think we saw everything that he has to offer last year. I think another year removed from the ACL is going to be a big deal. But let's be honest, we're taking a lot of stuff on faith with Anthony Miller, who played hurt all last year. Riley Ridley was a great steal in the 4th round. We haven't seen him play yet. Taylor Gabriel, I think, will be better as the number 3 in the slot than he was able to be as the number 2 last year, even though he caught over 60 balls. So it's a really good group. Is it the best that they've had? It's kind of like Mitch. They got to do that on the field, and then we'll have a better feel.
How much of Cordarrelle Patterson do you think we're going to see other than returning kicks? Any idea how Matt Nagy's going to use this guy?
I think more than people expect. Nobody likes his toys more than Matt Nagy as a play caller. And Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels showed us last year what you can do with Cordarrelle Patterson. We never saw that in Minnesota or even in Oakland, where he's lining up as a running back. He was their starting running back for 4 weeks, and so there's a lot they can do with him. They're going to run those jet sweeps with him. They're going to line him up at running back. They're going to line him up at wide receiver. I'll bet you they line him up at tight end on occasion, which nobody's seen. And I have every reason to believe, this is just my gut telling me, we're probably going to see him throw the football too. So not all, the first week or two again.
Right.
But I think Matt Nagy's got plans to I'm guessing that Cordarrelle Patterson, in addition to kickoff returns, gets at least 6 to 8, maybe even 10 touches a game.
Well, it's going to be fun to see how that all progresses and develops throughout the season. All right, the skeptics who are out there say, well, the Bears had 36 takeaways last year. There's no way they can repeat that. And I'm thinking, I'm still seeing Khalil Mack go out there and Akeem Hicks and Eddie Jackson. Why not? Could they duplicate that?
Well, I think the why not is because it's one of my favorite sports expressions, to steal the hockey slang. It's puck luck. I mean, there were a lot of bounces that went the right way last year. And that's got to happen to pile up 30, 35 takeaways. It could happen again. They created a lot of their own luck because they are constantly in the quarterback's face. They are constantly all over receivers. I do think they'll be near the top of the league in takeaways. But 36 is a big number, and usually the team that leads the NFL in takeaways has a serious regression the year later. Now that's just maybe a statistical outlier, I don't know, but it has happened that way. And so I think there's a lot of good reasons that people are doubting their ability to get that many takeaways again.
All right, what's the weak link on this team?
Well, I don't know if I'd say there's a weak link. I certainly worry about where they're at tight end. They're clearly not well defined right now, and that was before the health questions about Trey Burton, even with the 4 guys they've got. Bradley Soule is a converted offensive tackle who they did not target once in the preseason, so he's obviously not ready as a pass catcher. You're really going with 1 Y tight end and 2 U tight ends. When you see Soule out there, it's either going to be as a decoy or as a blocker for a running play. So I think they've got to get better settled there. And then, of course, Adam Shaheen's got to establish himself as the starter. We don't even know if he is that yet. Beyond that, you worry about an injury at left tackle. Cornelius Lucas is on the team but didn't have a good training camp. But these are high-class problems when I'm starting to talk about the backups. And again, Lucas is a guy who's played in the league and may be okay. So there is good reason that a lot of people are picking this team as a serious contender.
That's our Bear Blitz analyst, Hub Arkush, once again. He'll be joining us every week. You can also catch Hub on the Bears pregame and postgame shows on AM 670 The Score in Chicago. And by all means, go to ProFootballWeekly.com for not just your latest Bears news, but your latest NFL news. Hub is, of course, the executive editor of ProFootballWeekly.com. We'll be right back. But first, here's this week's Bear Blitz trivia question. Last year, Matt Nagy became the 5th different Bears coach to be named AP NFL Coach of the Year. Who were the other 4? I'll have the answer after the break.